All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Margin, what's up? Susan, Fade, Rad, Anna, good morning. Darth, Easy, NVIDIA. NVIDIA, what a name. Morning, everyone. Good morning, Alex. Chef, good morning. Hope you enjoy your night with Carmine, Chef. Hopefully, I'll get over there. Morning, everyone. J-Hole. That's today. Today's the day. All right. Yeah, end the week strong. It's been a great last 2 weeks. It's been a great August, really. Just a more in control August. Some good days, some good price action, some days to stay away. Been able to keep things tight. You know, taking some losses, but keeping things tight, which is very key. So far, so good. Smash the like button. Appreciate that. Let's get the likes going. Today is our giveaway day. So for you guys that have been going to the attendance form down below and filling that out, that is great. The more you fill it out, per day, if you do it once per day, you get the highest chance of winning. I think we're just going to give away another hat today. Just going to keep trying to give away some merchandise for you guys that show up to represent the Insiders brand. So appreciate you guys being here. Make sure to get that attendance form filled out. All right. It's going to be a quick day for me. Got some things I need to get to today. Friday, I've been purposely setting up meetings for the home build on Fridays. That's the day that I set them up, and it makes me get out of the office, and it's been great. It's been good to get out on a Friday, not ruin the week. It's the last day of the week, and that's what I have again today. So have some meetings set, make sure that I have to get out of here so I don't do anything stupid. Powell speaking at 10 o'clock today, so the first half an hour of the day today, probably something to be cautious on. Again, we are in the same range as we were yesterday, same exact range as Wednesday, and we talked about this on the live stream yesterday. We said, hey, if we're within Wednesday's range, we should expect choppy price action. That's exactly what we got, and today we are once again in the same range from Wednesday. So do we expect more choppy price action? That's very possible. Maybe some catalysts today from Jackson Hole and Powell speaking, so we shall see. But we have to come into the day the same way we came into yesterday, all within the range of since Wednesday of this week, and we can't really expect things to, be any better if it's within that range. So, yeah, the Giants, I don't want to get my hopes up on the Giants. That's probably the worst thing you can do, but pretty nice. They're putting up points. It's preseason, so I don't really know how much I trust, but I think, should be exciting to see at least. At least there's some kind of excitement around it, right? For the first time in a long time. All right. With that said, let's get started. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Here we go. Let's get started. So, today, really nothing changes, unfortunately. I really don't have anything different for you today. It's the same levels. It's the same everything. Yeah. So, there's not much to add. Today is fantasy football day for the insiders, the options insiders. It's our fantasy football day of signing up. So you guys, if you're in the Discord, make sure you 5 p.m. today. 5 p.m. today, I'm going to post the links for our leagues. So make sure you guys remember that. It's first come, first serve. There's 23 spots. I'm the 24th. Two leagues of 12 players. So if you guys are in the group, just make sure you're ready for it because it goes quick. $100 buy-in. So make sure you make sure you're locked in on that if you want to join. Okay. With that said, let's go to the economic calendar. Economic calendar. Here we go. Why did that not pull up? Hold on. There we go. So you guys can see right here, Powell speaking at 10 o'clock, Trump speaking at 12 o'clock. So we got two heavy hitters speaking today. And then, Jackson Hole just pretty much, when does it actually start? Like, when did the first conversation start? I don't quite know, but I know that 10 o'clock is when Powell speaks, so that's going to be the most important one. So 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, Jackson Hole, J-Hole. Next week, home sales, durable goods, GDP next week. Not too much there. But yeah, that's it today. 10 o'clock, first 30 minutes of the market. Maybe you say, hey, I'm not going to trade for the first 30. I'm going to wait until that Powell speech comes out. Or maybe there's something good for the first 30, and then you call it a day after that and don't get involved in the Powell, right? So we shall see what it looks like. But the first 30, definitely something to be cautious on today. All right, NASDAQ Futures. I really don't have anything to add, guys. It's pretty much the same spots as yesterday. I did expand my demand zone slightly on the NASDAQ Futures, but yesterday we came into the day expecting chop within Wednesday's range, and that is exactly what we did. So we had Wednesday's range, Wednesday's highs, Wednesday's lows. We said anywhere between that. The market is likely to stay pretty sideways, and that is what we did all day yesterday. So we just stayed within the exact range of Wednesday, here and here. And guess what? You're in the same spot today. So don't really expect that much today, folks, right? And, I see a lot of people losing a lot of money and when the market goes nowhere, right? So you zoom out, you say, how did I lose all my money in a day that went absolutely nowhere? So let's just, find a way to put some expectations and to, be cautious. I don't have a problem with finding individual setups that you like, right? I do the same thing. I still look for individual setups that I like, but I also scale down. I keep risk very tight. I don't get hopeful. I don't pray, right? And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But, for some of you, it might be better just to not touch it at all, right? That's up to you. It depends on your, your tendencies, your current performance, your ability to take risks or your desire to not take risks, to maybe slow down a bleed. It's all everyone's opinion or everyone's situation is different. But I'm just going to be here to tell you, right? I'm just sort of the voice from above, just telling you, hey, it's probably not the best day, right, if you're inside of this range. So you're probably not going to find your best trading opportunities you've ever seen if you are inside of this range. And that's really all I can say. There's nothing else to really add here, guys. You are down into some major NASDAQ demand. You are still below some important supply. You have really no edge between it. And if you find something you like today, maybe you give it a shot. But, just know that it's not going to really do much for you unless you break out above these highs or break down below these lows. So major previous highs here, into lows, into lows, into lows. That's a big demand hold that continues to hold. And then on the 4-hour, we can see major highs, major lows, major highs, major lows, and major highs that are still right here. Daily 20 SMA is still above as well, which could potentially keep things pretty timid today. All right, so that's really it. In my opinion, you got to get back above this Wednesday high for any type of upside continuation towards 600, possibly back towards 730. Or you got to break under 23,000 flat. If you break out under 23,000 flat, you go to 22.8. And this is your potentially no trade zone if that's what you want to do, right? If you say, hey, today's Friday, I'm not here to mess up my entire week. If this thing stays within this range, I will enjoy my day, right? Maybe that's what you say today. QQQ, same thing. There's no difference. We have QQQ major lows at 559, 558 zone down here. We have major highs at this 557, 559. We have the daily 20 SMA sitting right above. And you are basically just sandwiched between the 50 SMA and the daily 20 SMA, all right? You're just sandwiched between them. Got to wait for the market to do something over 589 or under 557, I'd say. If you can get a break and hold above, hold to the daily 20, maybe you get some upside, right? Or if you get a break under Wednesday's lows, rejecting, maybe you get your downside towards 552. If it's in between this zone, you're not going to get anything, right? Same as yesterday, no difference. ES, exact same thing. We can see right here on the ES. Our level that we came into yesterday was the Wednesday low at 63.63, and that was the exact low of day here. 63.63, okay, 1 point off, 63.64. So levels are absolutely correct. You just got to trust them. 63.63 to 63.75, that's your demand zone that you can see held all day yesterday, held Wednesday, and held here in the pre-market. So you're probably going to see another bounce there, or right, if you break under this 63.63, that's where you can start to trade downside towards that 63.20, 63.10. To the upside, well, you keep rejecting this daily 20. You saw yesterday the best fades were off the daily 20, so there you are again. Even if you break above that daily 20, though, you're still fading, or you're still trading higher into this Wednesday smackdown point, so I really don't like that upside still. So pretty much anything between Wednesday's range, like we said, Wednesday's range here, Wednesday's range here, 64.30 to 63.60, right in there. Anything between this and this is likely a disaster, right? Really no continuation, can't trust a single candle, right? One candle looks good, the next candle looks like shit, all right? It's just back and forth, back and forth. So would be cautious in there. Just understand that, right? It's really not by any surprise. It wouldn't be like, oh my God, the market's such bullshit. I can't believe that this is happening. No, it's, you know, this is what's expected. So major previous lows into lows again, big rejection highs into rejection highs again. And you have your same channel that you did here and here, right? No difference. So need a level to break to get real trades. You are not doing that, so just got to be aware of it. SPY, 633, 632 demand lows, 640 supply highs. You're inside that range. That was Wednesday's highs and Wednesday's lows. That is Thursday's. There's Thursday's highs and Thursday's lows, and you can still see the same channel between that area, right? So be aware of that. 640, 633, 632. It looks no different than yesterday morning. And if you saw what yesterday's price action was and you didn't like it, then you shouldn't expect anything different, right? It's the same exact thing. Same spot, same zone, no breaks, no key levels, just right in the center of two big spots, okay? Not going to spend more time than I need to on that. I'm not going to spend more time. It's very simple, right? It's very simple. It's either gets out of the range or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, it's not great. If it does, maybe there's opportunity, right? That's really it. So let's go to the SMH. The SMH is an interesting demand low again. This would be the only sort of interesting long that is maybe available if markets can find strength. This is a nice demand low down here on SMH, right? We've seen many holds down at these lows. We need to see the market confirm some kind of strength, but there is interest about whether this is a nice opportunity to go long the semis once again at these lows. Now, NVIDIA did have some news last night. That's probably not great for the name, so a little bit cautious on that. And probably you just, if you don't want to get stuck in any type of breakdown, you probably want to see SMH get back above the daily 20 here, right? To be honest. You got 292, 293 failures, and could be failures again right there. So here's your range between these two levels here. Interesting demand lows to potentially look for the upside, but you know, you still are up against the daily 20 SMA, which could just do something like this, right? Like it did in the past. So just be aware of that. IWM, not bad on a comeback off the pullback long at 223 and the daily 20. That was very clean. Right, you can see that daily 20 hold right there. Nice little pop here so far today, and it is reclaiming back above that 226 high. So a little bit of outperformance on the IWM here, and an important reclaim back above the 226 rejection point. So could be interesting to see if IWM holds that 226 today. Not sure I'll be too interested in trading IWM upside today, but that is interesting. 226, you are back above it after holding that daily 20. So not a bad little watch there if you want to keep an eye on that. Gonna skip the Dow. Not really much going on in the Dow. I'll go over to Bitcoin. Bitcoin 112,000. Looks like it's under pressure today. And there are some interesting downside trades on Bitcoin and Coinbase. I'm sorry, Coinbase and MSTR today. So Bitcoin continues to look a little bit weak here to me. A break under 112,000 would be an important break in my eyes, right here, right? So if we break this one, we might actually just break this like right now. It's only 85 points away from 112,000. So yeah, a big break under that today. If we get that, you could look for some Bitcoin weakness. That's sort of a, very strong underperformance as of late. So something to keep an eye out there. Could be the next big opportunity on some crypto downside. All right, that's that. Let's get into some stocks. What are we at? 2,000 people, 700 likes. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Make sure to fill out your attendance form. Make sure to get ready for the giveaway in today's live stream later today. The J-Hole Symposium. All right. Tesla. So Tesla has started to get into that zone and that price action where we say there's only certain times of the year that you want to trade Tesla. I think you've entered the time of the year where you don't want to trade Tesla. I think it's sort of gone. It was nice and it fell to shit. Not bad to the downside lately, but a little bit hard to trust now at these lows. These are some big lows here on Tesla, between like this 318 and 320 area. You have some major previous just highs, major previous holds. So a little bit careful in here on Tesla. I don't really see it. You can see again on the daily chart. I know this looks really disgusting, but it really is just sideways consolidation. You had a chance to break out of this flagging move. Do I have? I think I have a drawing set on it. I guess I do not. No. Okay. I don't have a drawing set on it, but yeah, I mean it's just not that interesting anymore. These lows are important. These highs are important. I have no idea how it trades between that. Yesterday it was just a total random. Just back and forth. I couldn't even tell what it was doing. I mean, nice fades at the highs, nice holds at the lows. A little bit of an inverse head and shoulder here, right? Nice little intraday head and shoulder, creating some upside. Just all very short-lived stuff, guys. Nothing that's really important. Nothing that's like, oh man, what a great time to trade Tesla, right? I mean, it's just not quite there. So, to me, I'm probably going to want to see a break under 318 or a break over 327. I have those alerts set. You can see my alerts on my charts, right? And I'm just going to leave it alone. I have no interest in trading Tesla inside of yesterday's range, and that is exactly where you're trading still. So I would wait for Tesla to break out of big levels to trade it. Right now, that is definitely not happening. NVIDIA. Some news overnight about their H2 chips, about some, what was it, that they're not shipping them out or something like that. What was it? Suspends China-focused H20 chip as Beijing pushes for domestic alternatives. So it looks like China's trying to look for, domestic China-based alternatives. Good luck with that, China. Moves down a little bit overnight. It's not anywhere that's interesting, right? Take a look at this range, right? You have 177 highs, you have this 169, 168 low, and you are smack dab in the middle of that range. You are smack dab in the middle of Wednesday's range, right? So, I have alerts. That's it, right? I have alerts here. I have alerts here. That's it. I got nothing else for you there. You don't want to get involved inside that range. AMD, there's really only one trade I'm interested on AMD, and surprisingly that is upside, but I'll explain to you why that's upside. The reason I'm looking for upside on AMD is because I just think that's the next best trade. It's the area of least resistance. It's up here above 167. If AMD can get higher over 167, I like this area of least resistance straight down. I would look for straight up, and I would look for a retest of the daily 20 SMA up here. That's what I'm waiting on. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I'm just not really interested in fading AMD into this major demand low here. You guys can see previous major highs, previous major lows, and you're just sort of messing around in this zone right now. I think this area right here will want to get filled. That is, look, that is exactly what we did right here. See this? Right here. See this? And then see this? That's what I want to happen. See this? That is the same as this. Right here and right here are the same moves. So what do I want to see next? I want to see this and this. And I want to trade that long right there. So that's really the only trade I'm interested in. Here to the daily 20 to fill in this straight down move, which I'd expected to see straight up here. That's opportunity, right? That's easy trading. Trading down at these major, lows where you have a lot of congestion and you have a lot of question marks at major demand lows, and you start getting, all worked up inside of these tight ranges, that's where you lose money. Where people don't lose money is when it's easy like this, right? Where it's just vertically higher over a key level. Vertically higher over a key level. So I'm waiting for that. Simply put, right? Simply put. If we can get over 167, I'll look for it. Do I think you're going to get over 167 right now with what the market looks like and what SMH looks like? Probably not. But if it happens, I'll watch it. And that's really it for AMD. I think that's the best next opportunity there. So just going to be waiting for it. Broadcom, interesting demand lows here on Broadcom, down at the 282 demand. You can see right here, Broadcom, major lows, you're there again, you're holding. That's also a daily 50 SMA. So if you look at this daily chart on Broadcom, you can see pretty much the entire last 5 months, you've been holding this daily 20 every single time a pullback came into it, daily 20, daily 20, daily 20. Every single time. And look at where we're at this time. Daily 50. So that's sort of interesting, right? That's sort of interesting right here at the daily 50. Is this maybe a deeper pullback opportunity? We'll have to see. We don't know yet, right? Market's just not showing us yet the move. We can't make those assumptions if the market's going sideways, right? It's just not possible yet. But we can watch it and understand it and know that it's there and prepare for it, right? That's interesting. So I'm watching. I'm not taking action yet, but I'm watching. 282, daily 50. Is this an opportunity back to the upside on Broadcom? The problem is it would be a pretty limited upside up into that 300 and that 302, that daily 20, right? This would really be your opportunity back up into that. So it's all right, but we'll see. Just going to watch that demand low. The electrician, appreciate that. Thank you, brother. Thanks for supporting the stream. Thanks for supporting me, my caffeine addiction. Not much on MU. 116 holding. TSM at a major demand today, guys. Right here, you can see TSM, major demand. Right here at 225. Another semi that could be a long opportunity, right? TSM held here. It held on this pullback, and it's sort of right down back there at 225. Could this be a nice long back into 237? Let's see what SMH looks like today. That's going to be the key, right? SMH is also at key demand. So, do we get that? Did Bitcoin break? Not yet. Yeah. Semi's sort of interesting. Let me go over to the crypto names that I'm watching today. I would say that the downside between 289 and 277 is free on Coinbase. This would be a free downside move if you get crypto weakness. I would definitely watch this. If you go to the 4-hour chart, you guys can see right here on the 4-hour chart, under 289, which is this little low right here, you pretty much have zero support until this high right here at 277 and the daily 100 SMA. So I'm just going to be waiting to see if Coinbase breaks that 289, 290 zone. If it does, I'm thinking you get pretty free downside into 277. And hey, that's a nice That's a nice 13 points of downside right there on Coinbase, which is money in the bank on options contracts. So I'm waiting to see if you get that break of 289. Crypto's definitely staying weak, so interesting, right? Interesting. Gonna be watching it. The other one that looks very weak is MSTR, right? You guys can see right here, MSTR. Look at this weakness. This is pretty wild, actually. This is very clean. MSTR, previous major highs right here. You can see that major rejection where you popped into it and failed it, right? That was also the same sort of failure. Look at all this right here. Popping into it, failing it every single time. Popping into it, failing every single time. And take a look where MSTR is now. Look at that. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Rejections, 345. That's very clear. Bam. That's interesting to watch. I'm going to be watching to see if MSTR fails this today, if there's any type of more, downside continuation. Yesterday, it's still, like you can see, it's been failing it, but it's not giving you the juice. You need the juice, and you're not getting the juice, unfortunately. So the juice is not loose. So in my opinion, we need to break probably like this, maybe like this 333 low. It's like 334, 335. It's not going to be perfect down here, but it looks like you need to break under some of these major lows from the last few days. Maybe this Tuesday low and this Thursday low. If you can maybe get a clean fail under yesterday's lows right here, maybe you can get your continuation move. But for now, it is failing a very, very key spot, right? You can see this 4-hour failure. Very nice. The juice is not loose. That's right. Not yet. It's not yet loose. Could be loose. Maybe it loosens up today. We'll see. Let's go Palantir. I want to say the next, like in my gut, and I don't like trading off gut feelings, but in my gut, I want to say that the next best trade on Palantir is back to the upside. As everyone gets overly bearish on it, right? As people think like, oh, this is going to be the easiest short ever and it's going to keep going. It might be over. It really might. Unless it breaks under 151, this short is over. And people that are shorting into a hole here at the daily 50 are going to get smacked up. Palantir is still a great company and still probably has a lot of strength behind it. Now, could it go lower? Absolutely. Could it go higher? Absolutely. No, I'm not saying it can't do either. But in terms of like the recent pullback, it's starting to hold up at this daily 50, and it's starting to hold up at some major previous daily levels, right? This area, honestly, this whole area right here between 145 and 151 is actually a monster demand zone, right? Look at this. Previous highs, major lows. And look at that wick that happened on back on, what was that, on Wednesday, right? A huge buy fest out of that zone. Huge. So is this going to start to maybe try to fill in some of this straight down action? And maybe at that point, that becomes another short, right? This is what people don't understand. You don't go straight down. So maybe you need this, right? That doesn't mean it's bullish. That just means it's creating a lower high, right? And then it becomes a short again. But people are going to short here at demand and then say that the market's rigged, right? And then they're going to take their loss. It's going to make a lower high. And then the next week after they take their loss, they're going to see Palantir down another 10 points. And they're going to say, I can't believe trading. This is ridiculous. And I quit, right? But this is how the market moves, right? When you look at a stock chart, it moves like this, right? Or this. It doesn't move like this. Or this. It does, right? It pull back longs, pop and fades. So if you want to trade on an intraday basis, and you want to trade like the momentum or the real time, what's going on real time, then the next move is probably up, right? That doesn't mean Desi is bullish on Palantir and it can't go lower, but the next move is probably some type of a sort of retracement to make a lower high. So if that is the case, I think there's actually quite an interesting long above 162. If you get above 162, I think that's a pretty much straight up move to 169. Right? So over 162, where it was a major breakdown here on Tuesday, I would say straight up to 169, which is the daily 20 SMA, which would then become another interesting fade point from here. Not from here. From here. All right? So I'm interested in Palantir upside. I'm going to keep watching it. I really don't think I want to short into these lows. It's been very sort of consistently holding up above it. You can sort of see this 4-hour chart starting to show a nice hold there, right? It's 162. I don't think it's off. It's right there, 162. It's the key spot. Here, here, here. That was the breakdown spot. For me, it's 162. Very clear high, but it could be somewhere else. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. If it's off by a few cents, it's off by a few cents. So yeah, that's my key. All right, I'm going to be watching this. I'm not going to short into these lows. If it breaks under 145, then it's probably going to be dead, right? That would be where I'd look for more downside. Under like this 145, yeah, probably 145 on the dot actually. 145. That would be where I'd look for further downside. Under this high, these highs, this high, that low. If you fail that, this thing's donezo. But for now, it's holding in that zone. So interesting. We'll see what happens. Hood. The short is interesting, but it's not giving it to you, so it's starting to become uninteresting, right? The longer a short doesn't work, the more people are going to get squeezed out of it. This really needs to give up, or it's probably going to find its way back higher. 108 and the daily 20 was another fantastic fade yesterday, like it was on Wednesday. But you're just not really getting that downside, right? So a little bit cautious on this. You are creating somewhat of a bear flag into this 108 level, but you need this to start to flow lower. Or it's actually interesting to see if there's a reclaim ripper over 108. So watching both sides, keeping an eye on 108 today. Definitely. Oh, there goes Bitcoin. Uh-oh. Okay. Buckcoin has broken. Alert. Red alert. Maybe that helps Hood lower today. We shall see. I know I'm going to be watching Coin and MSTR today. That's for sure. Okay. I really don't like any setups on large cap tech. Excuse me. I really don't like anything on Meta. I really don't like anything on Amazon here. 220 demand is nice, but it's still stuck in a range. I really don't like anything on Google. Google was a nice hold to the daily 20 yesterday, but that trade is over, and you're up into that 205 high, so really don't like anything there. Apple is holding the 225, 224 zone, which is that previous 4-hour high. So you can see right here, major previous 4-hour highs, holding on Apple. That trade, not really that interesting. We can keep an eye on it today. But with the market where it is and the sideways consolidation, I'm just not interested in trading large cap tech at the moment. There's really nothing that piques my interest. MP, yeah, that's an interesting trade there, Kevin. It's got to hold 65, but that's a nice retest. It looks like we've talked about this in the past, Kevin. I'm pretty sure you asked about this already. And that is the same exact read. There's nothing changed here. That's got to hold. Break, retest, possible long. We'll see. I don't know how this stock trades. So TEM sort of interesting today, or maybe something to be interested in over the next few days, next few weeks. TEM over 79 is very intriguing. TEM also just put in a perfect daily break and retest over this previous 66 high. Right? I mean, look at this beauty right here. So you had previous 66 highs, break, retest, hold, right? This is actually very interesting. So TEM over 79 could actually be an interesting trade. I would be watching this a little bit. I have an alert set, 79. Over that, 91. So keeping an eye on TEM a little bit. Reddit. Does it have more downside behind it? If it continues to reject this 219, 220 zone, it's sort of interesting, right? You see this right here? See how it's failing back under this little pivot right there? If Reddit continues to fail 219, 220, you probably see further downside. So watching that 205, I'm not that interested in Reddit. It's just not a great intraday. It's just not a stock with the greatest intraday volatility in my eyes. All right. I think that's about it, to be honest. I really do. I really don't have much else. CRWV, not interested. 90, it's just sort of dead down there. Circle. Maybe if Circle breaks Wednesday's lows. If Circle breaks Wednesday's lows, I do have an alert on that. That is interesting for the 120 move. And actually, funny enough, Circle is rejecting the gap fill right now, which is actually quite interesting. Look at this. And if crypto's weak, Circle could be... Actually, yeah, Circle could be an interesting one today, actually. If this goes lower with the crypto weakness, this could be an interesting one. You look at this little rejection that's going on. Circle is failing under the gap fill level on the daily chart. So on the daily chart, the gap fill level is 134.72. That's this level right here, right there. If Circle fails under that level, there is no reason it holds up until 120. There is no reason, right? From here to here, there is nothing of support. From this candle high to this little 120 high here, really it's down here, but you might hold up 120. There's no reason to hold up there. So that's sort of interesting. Look at this. Look where it's rejecting right now. That's the candle high right there. If it breaks this 129 low, you're going to 120, in my opinion. I don't think there's even a question. There's nothing here. So, yeah, I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch that today. I might be willing to just fade this 134.72 spot. Let's see. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see what the action looks like. Bitcoin's weak, so Coinbase MSTR will be on watch. Maybe a little bit of hood action off that 108 supply. And now it is time for the giveaway. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's, oops. Sorry about that. Pressed the wrong button. Let me pull it up. We're not going to dox anyone today with their emails, so I'm going to filter this to Monday to today. So only replies from Monday to today. And just so you know, this is where this is type form. I'm doing it right here. Let me see if I can get rid of the... Let me hide the email address tab just so I can bring this up so you guys don't think I'm BSing you here. How do I get rid of this tab? Let's see. I feel like I can move the tab. Okay. Hide column. There we go. Perfect. All right. So there's all the responses from the 18th to today. I'm going to export this. I'm going to filtered responses, CSV file, direct download. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to take that over to our good old X, and we're going to put that in Grok. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to put the responses in. I'm going to say, please pick one person to win our giveaway. Provide me their full name. And I'm not going to put email address because I'll just look up the email address myself. Let's see who it is. Cortez Lundy. Cortez Lundy. Welcome. And congratulations, Cortez. Cortez Lundy. You have won an Options Insider hat. Cortez, I'm going to shoot you an email. And I'll shoot you an email with a link to, let me screenshot this. I'm going to send you a link with the ability to purchase a hat. Well, it's going to be free, so it'll be free. I'll pay for it. All right. Congratulations, Cortez. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for joining the live streams. Score of 6. Yeah, that means that he filled out the questions. If you fill out the questions, you have a higher chance of winning. So, Cortez filled them out. Way to go, Cortez. Filled out, if he journaled his trades, if he took any, he just answered, is there any trades that you took from our live stream? And what was the other question? It is, did you confirm your attendance today? Yes. Did you place any trades based on our live stream? Yes or no? And then did you journal your trades from yesterday? Yes or no? If you fill those out, it doesn't matter about your answer. It just matters if you fill it out. Then you get a higher score. So, all right, guys. That's how we're doing our giveaways. We'll keep doing it in the future. Have a fantastic weekend. See you guys on